got it. All right.
You're listening to Shift Chats, the podcast for folks in the midst of their becoming. I'm your host, Larendria Addison, holistic mindset strategist and entrepreneurial therapist. On this season, season 3, we're highlighting people who didn't just pivot, they transformed. Today's guest is my girl, Adija Greer-Smith of Confectionately Yours. And when I tell y'all she started from the bottom, now she here, remember, you're not crazy, you're just evolving. Remember, the shift is happening now. Welcome to Shift Chats. Here with my dear friend for a very long time. We're going to have to figure out the timing on all of that. Adija Greer-Smith, owner of Confectionately Yours Bakery and all the goodness. She brought me some goodies, y'all. I don't know if y'all gonna get to see that because they might be gone by the time we get done with this. But welcome.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. I actually want to get into really quick because we were just having a conversation about like business and entrepreneurship, people not necessarily being prepared or thinking about what the transition looks like. So I want to make sure we get into that. You want to add what you were sharing before we started rolling, y'all?
Well,
we was having a little chat.
Just in regards to small business and how people are less forgiving to the small entrepreneur as they are to the big businesses and the big corporations. I consider myself to be, in a sense, a trailblazer in the city when it comes to the restaurant industry. I've been doing this for nearly 20 years now. And I've operated Confectionately Yours first from home, then into my first brick and mortar location, Sherman, Phoenix, then to 2 locations at one time. You know, and I've had a lot of opportunities to share with new entrepreneurs coming up in the city. And one of the struggles that I'm seeing is that our community lacks a little bit of compassion and grace to the small business. And I just think it's important for us to remind our people that support does not just mean making a purchase.
Right.
Support means being positive. Support means sharing a post.
Yeah.
Support means saying, I'm not extremely pleased with this opportunity, but I want to give you an opportunity to make it right.
Yeah.
So support is so much further than just going in and making a small purchase or big purchase or what have you. That support is being forgiving.
Yeah.
Showing grace.
I love that. And I started something earlier this year that I call Shift Support Saturdays. So I'm being very intentional about tagging small businesses, you know, my peers, whether I know them or not, you know, whether I know people or not. But if I see a small business that I patronize or want to patronize, like I'm sharing, I'm tagging them. I'm wanting them to, you know, share their information, just because, to your point, people are quick to be like, oh, this was good, or I didn't like it, or they greens was cold.
Right.
But did you tell them that greens was cold?
But did you just say, hey, I'd like my greens a little hot?
Yes.
You know, it's not, but it's like, the greens is cold. They get on social media. I'm never supporting them again because I went there and the greens was cold.
Yeah.
You know.
But you go back to McDonald's 50, 11 times and the fries be cold.
Come on now.
And
you going to wait all day at Popeyes. They ain't gonna have no honey, no biscuits, or no chicken,
or
and
no
you gonna keep going
chicken,
back.
and you keep going back. So what is that? I wonder.
Right.
I wonder what that is.
I don't know if it's the level of expectation that they have on small business, but I would think that the expectation for big corporations would be as great.
Right.
So yeah, I just
or
really,
if they're taking it personal, like
right.
because it's a small business, maybe they know you, maybe they went to school with you,
Right.
and they're like, "Girl, I'm expecting,"
Right.
But to your point, I feel like there has to be some grace allowed.
Absolutely.
Right? Because in each and every situation that we have, like we never, and I say this all the time, we never know what people are going through.
That's right.
Right. Somebody could be sick, somebody could be on their deathbed, somebody could have passed away, kid could have got kicked out of school. You don't know what's going on when you walk into the bakery
by a thread, but you showed up to deliver. And one thing I always say, I might not always hit a home run, but I'm always aiming to never strike out.
I love that.
This experience may not be a 10, but if you let me know, I'm going to do what I can to fix the situation.
Right.
At least what was pleasing to you. So at least I know I didn't strike out.
Right.
You know what? The greens were good, but they were cold. You know what? I can fix that.
Yes. Yes. And if you know, because you can't fix it. If you go and then you run off to social media or you run and tell, because word of mouth travels fast.
And
listen, she got cold greens.
And it travels faster when it's bad.
Exactly.
Than when it's good.
Yeah.
You don't hear too much about those good experiences as you do the bad ones.
Right.
And so, to your point, I feel like we, just as a people, we have to be a little bit more compassionate to the small business owner. I mean, we work hard.
Yes.
We work hard.
Right.
We are the chef. We are sometimes the cashiers. We sometimes the bus boy. We got to do the payroll, the inventory. Take those things into consideration.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Question. When I asked you to send me a picture. And so the question is, when you look at that version of yourself, what do you wish she knew? Or what's one thing you now understand that this younger you couldn't see?
That's deep. When I look at that younger me, what do I wish I knew? I wish I knew that I was stronger than what I gave myself credit for. I wish I knew that strength came from so many different deposits that I had throughout my life, from my grandmother to my mother, my aunts, my siblings. Because I can remember a time in my adult years where I was broken. I felt like I couldn't succeed. I couldn't, all those different things. And I think once I finally identified my compelling reason why, it helped me to hone into my true strength.
Right.
And first having the confidence in myself and understanding that it's not how other people view me, it's how I view myself.
That's big. That is
so
big.
When I see that little girl, I wish I would have known that, but I'm thankful for the lesson throughout the journey.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you go back? Would you change, or would you go through the journey as it was?
I would change some things.
Okay.
I think, as we are getting on up there in our age, we're seeing the younger generations now, and we are trying to shield them from mistakes or shield them from experiences that we made. And say, I try to tell my nieces and nephews and even my children, feel free to learn from some of the things I've gone through. You don't always have to touch the fire to know it's hot.
Come on now.
If I show you the wound, believe it.
Right.
But that's the old people used to always say, bought learning is the best.
Listen.
Sometimes they Just don't believe the fire is hot. And so
Mm-hmm.
I had those hard head experiences where I had to learn for myself,
Right.
even when somebody tried to say, hey, feel free to learn from me.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes and no, some things I would change and some
Right.
things I wouldn't, because
Yeah.
I think those hurdles has made me the woman I am today.
Right. What did when did baking go from a hobby to a calling, do you feel like?
Ooh, listen, baking for me has always been an internal love. It started very young. It started at that little girl stage when I used to watch my grandmother around the house, and I was just so fascinated, not with baking at the time. I was fascinated by the joy she had when she baked.
Mm.
And as a kid, when you're looking up to someone who um, is an idol to you,
Right.
you remember them when they're at their best, and you remember them when they're at their worst.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my grandmother being so happy when she was putting the love of culinary skills into this art form and
Mm-hmm.
sharing it with people.
Right.
And so that's what attracted me first. Um, when I, started to grow up in the world and, I saw those things, I did them young, I got away from it. And then when I became a mother, it somehow just fell back on me. I think it's because I had all this idle time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a stay-at-home mom. I had Xavier, and I was at home, and I was like, there has to be something I can do. And then I started going back to those old recipes, and I
Right.
started baking again, and I started gifting things to
Yeah.
people, and the community started saying, "Hey, do events, be a vendor."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, "Yeah, okay." So I started doing it, and lo and behold, people were just like, I mean, I felt like I just couldn't get away from the people. They were
Right.
like, "Give us more, give us more, give
Mm-hmm.
us more." And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Okay, I'm really good at
Well,
this."
we know you put something in them caramel cakes, honey. So
Yeah.
we just
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I put passion in what I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And that's just something that I can't teach
Right.
anybody.
So you said you saw your grandmother baking and the love, but you also saw some, I don't know if it was sadness, but so tell me, because I know we had talked in the past about you're saying there may be some transition coming soon, the remnants of what that looks like when you have this thing that you're so passionate about, and then
Right.
you realize maybe I need to do it different,
Right.
maybe I need to switch something up.
I found myself in business even over the last 10 years where I lost a little bit of my drive.
Mm.
And it reminded me of those times where I saw my grandmother and she was not in the best place.
Mm-hmm.
I found myself being her. I wasn't in the best place. I wasn't passionate about baking. I wasn't, it was like when you fall out of love with something that you are so in love with,
Mm.
it is so hard to recreate that bond.
Right.
And I found myself shifting.
Okay.
I found myself shifting. But that is because I was going through my own internal things. See, what
Mm-hmm.
people forget
Mm-hmm.
in this entrepreneurship life is that we're human.
Mm-hmm.
We're moms, we're wives or husbands,
Right.
we're we're still individual people, and we still go through stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Life doesn't stop just because we have decided to be our own boss.
Right.
And I experienced fatigue
Mm.
from trying to build a business. I was fatigued from being compassionate about things. I mean, I was burnt out.
Right.
And I found myself losing my drive. But what I didn't lose was my passion. It was still in there.
Right.
It was just being um, it was being smothered
Yeah.
by life.
Yeah.
Life be lifing.
Yeah. So share some of the things that you feel like you started to do to get yourself out of that smothering,
You
as you
know,
call it?
one of the things that I started doing is I start being a little bit more intentional about my personal health.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was like, I can't spend all my time working and doing all these things and I'm neglecting myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I started working on me
Yeah.
again because I'd lost that.
Mm-hmm.
I started um, getting up and like wanting to look like what I wanted to feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things I did for a very long period of time is I would get up every day, even when I didn't feel like it. I would get up, I would put on some makeup,
Mm-hmm.
because when I looked in the mirror, I wanted to say, you know what? If you can encourage yourself from what you see,
Right.
maybe that can encourage how you feel.
Yeah.
And I
And
didn't
people react to you different.
listen. They
Yeah,
do.
even with just a little, we ain't talking about a full face beat, but we talking about a little
Right.
eyeliner and some lip gloss, honey. And the people like,
Just
oh,
a
girl,
little
where you going?
something.
What you doing?
You know what? And I
Yeah.
think one of the things that caught my attention to that was that my customers started seeing me, and people was constantly saying, "You look so tired. You look so wore out." That was not a compliment, but
Mm-hmm.
it was an eye opener
Right.
because I said, if people can see this, if you look in the mirror, you'll see it too.
Mm-hmm.
You got to change this.
Yep.
You got to shift.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Come on now. I love it. I love it. What's one thing you feel like you've had to release in order to expand?
Mm. I had to release relationships. I had to release some relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Um, difficult, difficult. You know, um, I listen to Steve Harvey a lot, and I used to listen to him a whole lot when he was doing his talk shows and things like that. And I actually had an opportunity to go on one of his shows. My son was on one of his shows.
Okay.
Like it's like we just got this relationship.
Yes.
But I can remember him saying something to the fact that when God is trying to take you somewhere, He's going to remove people, places, or things that are not meant to go on that journey with you.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we be holding on to stuff that God be trying to
Child.
pull us from.
Just
I
say it.
mean, we be like this,
But that's
and
my best
and God be like, He be
friend. I'ma
prying our
show you. I'ma
fingers
show
and
you.
say, you know what? To everything there's a season.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and what's important is that you learn something from
Right.
it. Um, so,
Is there one in particular? You don't have to share names
mhm,
or an experience that you feel like was like, man, I really wanted to have this friendship and it didn't turn out to be what I thought.
absolutely, absolutely. You know, Confectionately Yours has been on an incline over the years. We've had some halting moments,
Mm-hmm.
some standstill moments where we had to be still, and there were relationships that I just was really sure that needed to stay the course to go on the incline because they were in the mud during some
Mm-hmm.
building
Mm-hmm.
phases.
Mm-hmm.
But I just had to understand that everybody ain't ready
Right.
to climb when I'm
Absolutely.
ready.
Yeah.
And if we are not climbing together, one person can't be going up and one going down. We're
Mm-hmm.
not going nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So,
It's a tug of war for
yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
I love that.
That was a hard experience
Yeah.
for me.
I definitely feel like, and I can definitely agree because I've had some similar experiences. And one of the things that I have discovered now is that it is, um, for me, I like to think of it as, like you're saying, it's part of the seasons, right? That we have to go through. And I have no ill will towards any of the
Absolutely.
people that I don't now have, kind of day to day conversation or relationship. Um, and want to say thank you. Like, thank you for
Absolutely.
the experience of
Absolutely.
what that was for that time. And even if it's about growth or it's just about where I am in my life. So for me, it's sometimes it's not personal, it
Right.
doesn't necessarily even have anything to do with that person.
Right.
But like you're saying, as you're on this journey of your growth, right? It doesn't mean that you're outgrowing them. It's
Right.
your growth.
Right.
And whatever that growth looks like for you, may not include people, some of
Right.
those people. So you have
Right.
to be like, so for me, it's like, thank you for that experience, right? And I
Right.
want the best for everybody.
Because it ain't no love
It's
lost.
no love lost. And if I see you, I'm going to speak.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Absolutely.
But we're just on a different journey
We're
now.
on a different path.
You know.
And, should our paths align again,
Mm-hmm.
the love is genuine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But right now, I have to have tunnel vision, and I have to move with those that are in alignment with me right now.
Absolutely. And that's a huge thing to be able to discern, because sometimes, like we're saying, like those relationships, because they're so long, like people are like, oh, I've been knowing them for 30 years and we went to grade school, and but at the end of the day, you could meet somebody tomorrow. For I have to use myself as an example in my travels and moving. Well, I should say I'm multi-city, I guess. But when I have my time in Houston, I met people that I can call on. Like, people check on me, like, you good, you need anything. I'm out of town, people calling me, you good, you need something, let me know if you need something.
Right. Right.
These are some relationships that I didn't have before.
Right. Exactly.
You know
Probably
what I'm
some new
saying?
relationships.
And these new year, 2 years, 3
Right.
years, whatever. And I feel like I could call on them probably before I could have called on
Listen,
some other,
I understand that completely. I have new relationships now in this season of my life and in business that are so available
Mm-hmm.
and consistent.
Yeah.
And, I don't even have to ask.
Yeah.
They show up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's no dig or anything on
Exactly.
anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But what I need right now is coming from some new relationships. And that's not to say that those will be there forever, but in
Right.
this season,
Yep.
they are helping to support what I need right now.
Right.
And it's reciprocated. It's not one-sided.
Right.
Because come on, we're givers.
Absolutely.
And so, but everybody can't move at the same pace, and they don't.
Right.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. And I feel like learning too about, adult friendship. Like, I feel like it's so different from when we were younger.
Oh yeah.
Teenage, high school. Like, I feel like I saw this post and it was like, remember when we was in grade school? We was on the phone, we talking every day.
Right.
We sleeping in the same bed. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
we doing all these things,
Right.
and in each, period of time that changes. And now, like, I have some friends like I might not talk to in 2 or 3 months.
Right.
But we gonna get on the phone and we done caught up on everything.
When you need them, they there.
All the things. If I call, vice versa.
Right.
We good. We might take a trip together or whatever that is, but I don't have to talk to them every day.
Absolutely.
Then
Absolutely.
I have some new friends or other friends that I know
that you talk to regularly.
They won't talk to me every day.
Right.
I'm feisty. I don't necessarily like talking every day, but that's what you need.
Yeah. Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
I can attest to that. I mean, I got my girls from high school. Like, we go back 30 plus years, and we don't talk every day, but when we are together, it's valuable time. They are always there when I need them. I am always there when they need me. And then I have those new relationships that, it's daily.
Yeah.
But we're doing things in common different from what me and my girls are doing on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So it's, relationships are different.
Share a defining moment that shifted everything for you.
This is easy for me because, and you got to forgive me because sometimes I get emotional when I talk about this.
Okay, we got tissue, girl.
COVID hit. I had just, we just opened Sherman Phoenix, 2018, November 30th.
Yep.
Just opened up. COVID hit, and they said, close it down. What? I'm like, God, you did not do all this to tell me it's over. Mind you, for me, I was the only business that really came a part of that development at the absolute end. See, a lot of people were built into the project for quite
Me
some
too.
time.
I was in the end. Yeah.
Right. And so I'm built in 6 months prior to the grand opening with a whole construction plan that needed to have, you know, all these different things had to change to make it work for me. COVID hit, they said, shut it down. I said, you got to be kidding me. And I sat for about 2 weeks and I didn't panic though. I utilized that time to listen.
Right.
What does this mean? What am I supposed to be doing? I know God didn't bring me this far, go through all these channels, all these hoops and everything,
right,
to leave me like this. So what am I supposed to do? And that's when I remember my grandmother telling me very young and all through my life that the smallest things make the biggest impact. I said, what the heck do that mean?
Right.
She said, what can you do? God said, what can you do?
Right.
And I said, well, I have a bakery. I have all this inventory. It's going to go to waste. And I don't know if you remember, Mo, that's when I created the cookie drive. I did a cookie drive and I started baking up cookies and I started reaching out to the hospitals, blood banks.
Yeah, because I was part of helping back them cookies
Absolutely.
up. Child,
and I said, I have a business. We're closed for COVID, but I'm licensed. I'm health department approved, all these different things. Can I give cookies to the first responders, to the doctors, the nurses, all these people that are working 12, 16, 24 hours a day? And they said yes. They weren't accepting things from a lot of people because people is dying. And they we got to be very particular about what we accept in these walls. And they said, yes, you can. From the first 100 cookies that we donated to a hospital, I knew it was doing something positive for the cause. Yeah. And that's when I went to social media and I said, hey, my staff is not being paid. They got to file unemployment. I said, but we want to do something to help. If we bake the cookies, will y'all buy one? And with my whatever money I had, I said, I buy a cookie, you buy a cookie. Right. And that's when people start saying, I'll buy 10, I'll buy 20, I'll buy 3 dozen, I'll buy 5 dozen. People started donating to the cookie drive. Right. And I would shop the inventory. Me and the girls, it was just 3 of us. We would bake cookies. It was an opportunity for me to still pay them something. Yeah. And by the time we finished that drive for nearly 9 months, we had donated over 25,000 cookies in Milwaukee and surrounding areas. Yeah. That pivoted our business when we started coming out of COVID because people remembered what we did. They remembered us. Yeah. You know, we were receiving letters and cards from doctors and nurses, and they was just like, we lost 5 people in 8 hours and walked into a room and saw a box that says, we proud of you. We're praying for you. Keep going. You're saving lives. And it was just a cookie. Right. And that's when I just was reminded again, something so small to me was so huge to somebody else. It was just a cookie, Mo. Yeah. But the nurses was like, I hadn't ate in 12 hours. Right. And when I walked in there and saw prayers on boxes and just cookies, it gave me the stamina and the strength to keep going because people's lives are dependent on my knowledge. And so, thank you. And so that time period for me was hard because I didn't know, I didn't expect anything. Yeah. From what we were doing. Right. I didn't expect anything. Yeah. The media started calling. Girl, they had cameras all in my car. They was riding around with me. Yeah. I had a cameraman in my back seat. I had a TMJ Ford truck next to me. They following me to St. Joseph's and Freighter and Grafton and South Shore. And I'm personally delivering all these cookies. And I said, this is what that meant. This is what it meant. Small things make big impacts. And that's why people got to remember small businesses make big impacts in our city, in our community.
Yes.
It does.
Yes.
So show us some grace. Because I ain't being shady.
Right.
But I didn't see Insomnia and all these big Mrs. Fields, and I ain't see them out there doing that. I didn't. And it didn't matter to me.
Right.
I did what I was charged to do. And I didn't expect anything in return.
Yep.
But what happened was, when the world started opening up again, those hospitals started reaching out and said, hey, you gave to us. We want to buy from you now. We want to buy from you. Can we buy 1,500 cookies? Can we buy 2,000 cookies?
Right.
I'm like, whoa. And so what happened was, that's what created this big plethora of corporate support that Confectionately Yours started to gain. We do more corporate business than anything now.
Yeah. And I love that for you. I love that you were able to come in from baking out of your kitchen.
Yes, girl.
You know,
burning out all kind of ovens.
Listen, I remember you like, I got to do this. I got to do payroll. I need to learn. You know what I'm saying? And we would have those conversations.
Absolutely. Like,
and
Mo, I don't know how to do that. Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy to see the transition. Like, I feel like when Angela was on, she was like, we grew and we flew. And I absolutely believe that, you know, we were all put in that place.
Grow through what you go through.
Listen, I love.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a final question for you to describe who you are becoming, not just where you've been.
Who am I becoming? I am becoming a woman with boundaries that I demand to be respected. I am becoming a woman with strength, but I understand that my weaknesses are not a bad thing. I embrace them. It's an opportunity for me to keep growing. I am becoming and continuing to be a leader. I'm an example of possibility. I'm an example of stick-to-itiveness. I am just a city girl with some country roots that grew up on 27th and Locust. But I am an example that when you put your passion with your purpose, it can yield you a paycheck.
In hard work and dedication,
man,
honey,
you gotta have some grit. You have to have some. Entrepreneurs say all the time, this ain't for the weak. It's not.
And I say all the time, everybody can't be an entrepreneur. And I want people to stop thinking that everybody can be. No, everybody cannot be an entrepreneur. And I'm saying it here today. Everybody cannot.
That's right.
Right.
What you'll see short-lived opportunities. You'll see open and closing. You'll see people feeling defeated. You'll see people putting their entire savings on the line for something that they're not even really passionate about. You can't chase money all the time. You got to have passion, baby. You got to do it.
No check,
hey, for a long, long time. But that's why I tell people too, you have to know what your passion is. And the only way you really gonna know what that is if you would do it if nobody gave you a dime.
Yeah.
People ask me, would you do this? I would do this. And I've done it.
Yeah.
When nobody has given me a dime for it. If you expect an immediate return for your work, your effort, entrepreneurship is not.
It's not
for you, baby.
And there's no awards for entrepreneurs, really. There's no, like, we are in a thankless field as it relates to entrepreneurship. You know, not necessarily a business, but just as an entrepreneur, nobody's like, girl, you did a good job today. Thankless. You. It's a thankless position.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
You know?
Definitely. And we don't operate for the thank yous. We operate to give people experiences. You know, when people come to Confectionately Yours, I want them to have an experience. I want them to feel welcome.
Right.
I want them to have a warm, just a warm engagement. I don't do it for the thank you. I do it to give you a grand experience, and I do it in my community because the truth is, Mom, we don't offer greatness enough to our own. And I want my people to know you can have quality.
Yeah.
I can give it to you.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't you have quality, but everybody else
Right.
can?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it for mine.
Right. I love that.
Hey,
Any last words you want to share with the shifters?
man, you know, I'm thankful for this platform that you're giving to entrepreneurs, just people of color, period. I think it's just so important that we have an opportunity to express ourselves like this because oftentimes all they see is us either in the mud or what they see as success. They look at us, oh, she's doing this or she's driving this and she's, they don't see everything that happens behind the closed doors. They don't see, like I told you earlier, all the invisible hats. They don't see that. They don't see that life's for us too.
Right.
So I'm just thankful for the chance to sit back and be real with people and hoping that will allow them an opportunity to see why showing us more grace is important.
Because we are real humans.
We are.
Remember, the shift is happening now.